guys, so today I'm going to be filming a short vlog type tutorial video on how to set up the live stream with the Teradek. I'm going to be demonstrating today for the UCLA men's rugby team against I think it's APU here at Wallis Annenberg Stadium at UCLA. So I'll show you how I do it so that you can follow along and set it up yourself if you ever need to, whether that's also for rugby or for another game. And I'll be using the equipment from the Club Sports office and just giving you a checklist on how to do it. So let's go. Alright, so I'm going to start by showing you what you need to set up in Sidearm in order to stream. So basically here on the left side, you're going to go to Live Events, and then you're going to want to add a new event. But actually, I'm going to go to open the old ones to just copy one. So I'm going to click on Archived Events and then hit Search, and it'll show me all the ones that are old. I'm actually recording this after the rest of the video today, so this is today's game. It's already done. So if you want to duplicate an old event and make a new one, you just hit Copy. And then you have everything, the information here, and you can create the new event. So I would just like change the opponent to whoever. And then you can set the start time, you can hit the date and then change the hour. Say kickoff was at noon, and then you can make the ending time for maybe 2 hours after that. And then choose your sport, men's rugby, you want event chosen. Free event is pretty good, and then live publishing point. So here's where you want to select UCLA Club 1, because we're going to use the number 1 Teradek that says use publishing point 1, and you'll see that in just a second. Then you can have it in full game archive and make sure your contact is selected here, so in case the stream goes down or something, Sidearm on the other end is actually watching you and making sure you're okay, so they'll actually contact you. And then at the end, just select video, and then you can check the associated game, and then you hit submit. And then it will show up as an event when you hit upcoming events and search. And just so you know, if you ever need to test out streaming on a time that's not an actual game, you can just hit add new and choose test event here. And then you'll be able to create an event that no one will be able to see, but you'll be able to make sure the Teradek's working and everything. Alright, let's talk about what you need to make sure you have from the Club Sports office in order to do everything. First of all, here's like the area the equipment's being stored right now. This is 2022. I don't know when you're watching this, but it might be the same, might be different. So there's a form in the wall to sign out the equipment. And then basically from here, you're going to need one of these tripods. They have 3 right now. And you're also going to need one of these big camera bags. There's 2 big yellow bags, but you need to open it up and check that you have all the pieces you need before you go down. Because it's heavy, it's far, and you need to make sure you got everything. Alright, so first of all, you need the camera, obviously. There's the Canon camera, and yeah, I think pretty much as long as you have the camera, there's 2 of them. This one's kit 2. I don't think it matters too much. Just so you know, one of my favorite things here. Don't make sure it's like not on cinema or anything. You can do auto or manual depending on if you know how to adjust that. You're also going to need the charging cord because, well, if you're smarter than me, you can figure out how to make sure you have battery charged, but you just can't when other people might be using it. And sometimes, I don't know why, but the battery doesn't keep charged, and it's not my responsibility to keep it charged. So I just always run it on the power, and that way I don't have to worry about anything happening in the middle. So it's just the more surefire way to make sure I will not lose power in the middle of the match. There's also like a small extension bar here, which is fine because you're also going to need the plug for the Teradek. So here's the plug for the Teradek, by the way. It looks kind of like this. I think it's a standard plug. Not sure, but this is what it looks like. You need to make sure you have that. And then this is the Teradek. So there are 2, but as far as I understand, one of them doesn't work right now. So this one is kit 1, use pub point 1, and I'll show you the settings on this when we get it set up. But it's just a box like this, and it's got a shoe on the bottom. And so I got kit 1. So for example, this was sitting up here in the cabinet because I think someone took it out just to make sure it wasn't in the bag. For example, just make sure you get that down. And so the last thing you'll need for the Teradek is this HDMI cord. It's got a mini HDMI on one end and like a full one. I think this is a full HDMI on the other end. So that's the things you'll need for the camera bag. you need the power cord, the camera, the other power cord, Teradek, and a small HDMI cord. And then one other thing I have here is just a gigantic extension cord. Just because of the situation on the rugby field, you might need something different, or maybe this extension cord will not be here anymore. We've been keeping it in this cabinet for the past few months, but you know, things shift around. So in case you need it, just like scope out your situation before you get to it. So I put this extension cord here in the front of this backpack and just bring it all back together when I'm done. To be honest, the backpack's really empty, so it's like not too heavy, but then the extension cord is really heavy, so definitely put that inside the bag. This is what you need from the Club Sports office. Apart from this, you're also going to need, well, you don't need it to stream actually, but I bring my SD cards to record the game as well. So these are actually the esports cards. Sorry esports, I'm using it for rugby. I asked rugby to get cards. But basically, it just gives me a backup because we can record the game as well as streaming it. The streaming for Sidearm does save to like the cloud, not the cloud, but like Sidearm server. So you can download it, but say like for some reason you lose connection in the middle of the stream, and then there's nothing saved up there. So for me and for my team, what we needed is to have a backup recording of the entire game, so in case the internet connection to the stream disconnects for some reason in the middle, I have the full version recorded on the card, and that's what we can use to upload the VOD later. And then the last item I choose to bring is totally optional. I bring headphones with my headphone cord, and I can just use this to monitor the audio to the camera, and that helps me just understand what our viewers are listening to. If there's like a ton of wind noise or something, I just understand that. And then also, depending on your situation for filming, on cold days or on windy days, it's great to have something like that doesn't freeze your ears. And then I always bring something that's too warm and then take off my sweater if I need out there, just because where I'm filming from is really high up and it can be really windy and really cold, and so it's better to be too warm and be prepared that way than too cold. Not saying I like froze to death filming a rugby match once or anything. Okay, we're now in the field and I've unpacked pretty much all the stuff. I got all the stuff out of the bag and the tripod. I leave them on this green platform for now because that's really the only place to put it, because this entire area is kind of dirt and dust and things still do get dirty here, so I'm just going to close this up. I put my stuff inside. I'm just going to close it up so that more dust doesn't get inside the bags. And I'll show you what I've done so far. Basically, I got the extension cord out and I threaded it up into the media box. This is the media box that's on the Annenberg field, and I'll show you up there in a second. But basically we're getting power. I wrapped the cord just around one of these bars, just once, so it stays. And then I've also got this black Ethernet cord, which I'll explain in just a second. I also wrapped around the bar and put enough slack in the box. I just unloaded everything else so far. I haven't unplugged it yet. This is the tripod, all the stuff I mentioned earlier. Also, bring water, don't get dehydrated. So down here there's some sort of like system that you can plug in the extension cord, and then I think it comes out here as power. But I just do this straight with the extension cord because I can, because it's close enough, and because who knows, like maybe your cords won't reach to this plug-in either. Because, for example, the Teradek power strip is very short, so it's good to just have this extra thing and bring the extension cord all the way into the box. And this is actually a different box than was here a month ago, so welcome new box, I guess. It's in a new spot as well. So I'm gonna get used to that today. Let's go up here to the box. Today they opened this side. That was very smart of them. Usually they open that other side all the way back in there. You have to go all the way around. It's kind of inconvenient, but I opened this side today. So, common sense, don't put the wires on the side, people. Walk up, put it on the side. People don't walk up. Alright, so in the box up here, basically I picked the closest socket to the lift out there. I just plugged the extension cord in because the door's open here today. That's awesome, we can put it there. But when it wasn't, I would use this window, and I just open the window and feed the cord through here and out the front to the lift. And that is for the power. The Ethernet currently is in this middle section. Hopefully you can ask Frog or whoever the person to ask is to test with you before your season starts or anything if you need this Ethernet. So this is like locked up, but there's like internet in here and there's some wired connections. So this blue one's actually also a wired Ethernet connection, but as you can see, cord's pretty short. So the black one is plugged in, and this one is obviously like the longest Ethernet cord you've ever seen in your life. I just try to keep it wrapped up over under so it's easy to unfurl, and that also I just took out and threaded out to the lift. And then when the door was not open, I just used this window and fed it out there. Again, the cord is extra long, so hopefully there should not be any issues there. And then in this section, sometimes the scoreboard people come and do stuff here. But I think for right now, the internet is in this middle section in this box. And hopefully you have a long cord that is plugged out to here. Okay, now I've got everything set up. It's a little bit hard to show you me setting up because I can't do things with two hands and film at the same time. So I'm just going to explain what I did. Basically, I've got the extension cord and I plugged the bar over here into the extension cord. If you want to know if the extension cord is working, it's very hard to see, but there's a little orange light in the clear part of this, and yeah, I think you can't see. Oh, maybe right there. So do you see that? That orange light means that the power is coming there. So you know it's working. You know it's plugged in over there and all that. So that's what you want to see. Also, you can see I've taped everything here. I forgot to bring my own tape today, so luckily the athletic trainers let me borrow some tape. But basically, most of the disconnections and mistakes happen because the power connections keep getting displugged. So over here I've plugged in, this is the bar for the Teradek, and this is for the camera. And these are both really loose. I don't know if it's the bar or the plugs. I think it's probably the bar. It's just really loose, so these come out very easily. So I just taped them all to secure them to make sure that they don't come out when anything's happening. And I'm just going to turn the bar on, and power should be running through. So up here on the camera, so I've installed it on the tripod. Our new lift today is actually very narrow, so that's kind of unexpected. I'm not able to raise the tripod up to its full height as I would have wanted, which is unfortunate, but we're just going to have to work with it today. So on this side of the camera, there's two like doors, one on the front here, and then one on the back. So on the back here, it's like way under the is it like the hinge or like the hob? I don't know. Anyways, it's right under it. So there's a black hole here and a yellow one. So the power goes into the black hole. So if you just plug it in, you should be good to go. Here on the front, there's a lot of stuff. There's one here marked HDMI out, and this is where to put the mini HDMI in. And then there's also mic, and there's headphones. So headphones is for monitoring, and that's what I'm going to use to just listen to what the camera is hearing. And then here on the top is the Teradek. So there's a little shoe mount here on top, and that's where you can put the little square of the Teradek, and you just kind of slide it in. I think previously I had it facing outwards, but it's better to have it facing backwards so you can just monitor the screen and make sure everything's okay with the stream as it goes. On the back of the Teradek, the power is here on the right, so this is just the plug from the power strip, and then here on the left is the HDMI input, and basically the Teradek is going to get from the camera the HDMI of whatever is on the screen. So if you pull up the menus and everything, that will be on the screen as well. So let's turn on the camera right here to camera, and so the camera will turn on. And then over here, you have to remember, I don't know if you can see this, the hood is closed, so don't forget to open the front so that the camera can see. And so this is the camera screen. Alright, so before we get going, I'm going to make sure to insert my SD card. This camera is currently set to use slot A, so I'm just going to stick it in there and close the door. And then, so on the screen you're going to want to check a couple of different settings. So back here on the back of the camera here, you've got this little dial here. It says set on it, that's what you want to use. So I'm just going to press on function, menu, and you're going to want to control your zoom rocker speed. I've got it on constant because I don't want it to accelerate. I think somewhere around 12 and 13 is pretty good. So I'll just go out. That's one of the important ones to have, make sure you set. I have movie format on MP4, 30 frames is fine. And so the other one you're going to want, especially when you're outside in the sun, is to change your OLED brightness to bright, because it's going to be hard to see the monitor with all the sunlight. So definitely make sure you have that on. And so the last thing is that, for example, say you start streaming now, the audience will see all of this stuff on the corners of the screen. They wouldn't see just the image. So to turn that off, you're going to go right here on this button called display. And if you just hit it, everything will go away except for the recording sign on top, which unfortunately the live stream viewers are going to have to be okay with. They're just going to see either the green pause or the red record, depending on what you're doing. Alright, we got about 20 minutes till kickoff, so we got to fix up the Teradek really quick. So first thing you're going to do, if it's all plugged in, make sure you only have the HDMI and the power in. You're going to come to this side of the Teradek and switch it on. Okay, and then hopefully if the power's on, it should start turning on. There you go. Ooh, nice frame rate. So it's going to just start up. Currently, I think I have turned off the Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi at school is just not reliable enough to be streaming on, and yeah, I don't know. If you can figure out a way to run the Teradek on Wi-Fi, all power to you, then you don't need an Ethernet cord. That would be great, but just for full reliability, we're doing an Ethernet cord these days at Annenberg. Okay, so usually it takes a really long time to get started, but now you can see it's saying, let's get you online. It starts by checking the internet connection. You can also see these dials on the left side here. You can see the first one, blue, means that yes, it's getting camera input from the HDMI, which we already set up. So basically it's going to check the internet connection. If the Wi-Fi is on for some reason, it will try to connect to Wi-Fi, and then if it's not, it'll just be like, oh, I'm not connected to the internet. Sometimes there might be a way to have it plugged in and start it. You can figure that out, you can test it. This is just the true and tested way that I know to do it. Basically, it's going to say unable to connect. You're going to press menu button for more options, and then it's going to say skip setup, retry, and you're going to hit setup. And it's going to say entering setup. Then you're going to choose wired. Just hit it, and then it says please plug in the network cable. This is when you can grab the Ethernet cable and plug it into the back here on the back end between the power and the HDMI. So it goes right here. So right in there. And this is another cord that may or may not fall out, so I would try to secure this one as well. So you should plug it in. If the sun wasn't so bright, you would see green lights next to the cord if you plugged it in. So on the front here again, it's saying go back to choosing that again. I choose wired again, and then you pick DHCP, and then it's switching to DHCP mode, getting IP address, and then it says connected. Hooray! So then I'll check the broadcast settings, make sure the camera's input's okay, making sure that the connecting publish point is okay, and then it will check for firmware updates. Don't know why, there's no firmware updates, and then it will try to get ready to stream. Alright, so we're now on the screen. You can see it says battery. I want it to say it's plugged in, so that's something you want to keep an eye on, is like the battery here. So this first, in the middle, the ingest at sidearm, that's a long URL that says that you want it to be going up to UCLA publish .1, and then below it says full HD. That's the one you want because we have the capability to pump a lot of megs per second over the Ethernet connection. And then on the top right it says ready, and you can stop the stream. Alright, so all that's left to do is get up in the air. So 2 things you'll need to do to get the lift going is down here by the ladder. There's a red plug, pull it open, and then up here there'll be a box with the lever, and you'll need to pull the red plug here as well. And then basically there's some controls here. So this one on this side is saying up and down is what we want, and so it's got it moved to that side, which is what we want. And so basically the perspective is from this way. So if I grab it and then start going upwards, so I move the lever forwards, I'll be going up. One thing you're going to do while doing this is just watch your cords, make sure they're okay as you go up. Okay, let's see. I think we have a good vantage point of the field. I think this is high enough for today. So it's a little bit wobbly. Get your sea legs, adjust pretty fast. And so when you're up high enough, be sure to close this valve again. Just turn it off so nothing happens and you can't go anywhere. And then you can lower yourself down after the game. So it's a little scary up here now, but I will figure it out. And let's get ready to start the game soon. Okay, so just so you know, this is what you want it to look like with the little plug sign instead of the battery sign. So you know that it's running on power continuously instead of whatever battery it may have. It's just taking me, I just have to like twist the power cord a little bit in a socket. So just keep an eye on this throughout the game and make sure that this doesn't shut off, obviously. I'm going to go ahead and start the broadcast, and then we're going to start it on Club Sports website. So if you just hit the start button and then start again, it's going to try and start and be streaming to this pub point. And then I don't think the pub point won't go live on the website until we tell it to. But now you can see it says live here, and it's going up to Sidearm. For my camera setup, I just wanted to show you, I've chosen to put the tripod arm on the left because I like to put my right arm on the right here with the zoom rocker, and then I can watch the monitor. Again, because we're on the lower tripod setting today, I've kind of got the lever in a funny position, but this is my control system for rugby. So I'm ready to start the stream on Sidearm, so I'm going to log into my Club Sports portal on Sidearm, which Hrog set me up with credentials. So let's see if I get the password right, and then for some reason I check remember me next time, it never works. And so I can just log in. On the side here, you're going to want to go to live events, where we set up the event, and then here it is, and basically it will start at the start time if I don't hit the start button manually, but in case they kick off now, I can start it manually by hitting the button. So it looks like they're about to start soon, so I'm going to get the recording started, and then since it's already live streaming, all I have to do is hit the start button on the website. And good luck with your camera work and your tripod operations, and have a good game. Hooray! The game is over. So it's time to clean up. Before I did, I just wanted to show you a couple of extra things I thought of while playing the game. I've already stopped the recording, and I've already hit the end button on the Sidearm back end, so the live stream is done. So here on the Teradek, luckily today we didn't have any problems with it disconnecting from the internet or from the battery. Also, this doesn't blink in real life, this is just the shutter speed on the camera. Had a good time today. This stayed as the plug-in, and this stayed live today, so I'm ready to stop the stream. So I'm just going to hit the start and stop button. Sometimes it takes a little bit. pop up, but it'll send you a confirmation window. You pull the dial to the right and say yes. Alright, so we got the live stream stopped, and then before I put the Teradek away, I'll just show you a couple more things under the menu. So if you hit menu, in broadcast settings, there is an option for quality. Like I mentioned before, you're going to want it to be full HD, which costs the most internet bandwidth, but will have it in the highest definition. And especially if you're using the Ethernet connection, you should have no problem uploading the full HD version. So it's already on this setting, but in case it's not, you can go ahead and change it to that, and then the rest of this should be fine. And you can just go leftwards on the menu button to go outwards. And then down here in setup at the very bottom of the broadcast settings, you can see this setup for the publish point, which is this, use pub point 1. It is already set to the publish point for UCLA. Here's the URL, here's the stream, and so I would suggest making sure you do not touch these settings. It's already all set up, so don't change anything. Here in video settings, there's just some other things to keep on the highest possible. If you want, there's an option to add an overlay, but I like to keep it off, and if you want to add text on the screen afterwards, then do it in post while you're editing. If you really wanted to, you can overlay something on the broadcast. It's just very hard to navigate typing it into this little box because this is the only control you've got. It would take you a very long time. I don't even imagine how someone would manage that during the broadcast. So I would recommend to keep the overlay off, and then I think everything else should be pretty much the same. So that's hopefully all you need to know about the Teradek. Like I mentioned, somewhere in there there's a setting for Wi-Fi to be off, and I think I turned that off just so it doesn't interfere with the wired connection and the priority to connect through the Ethernet cable. Last thing I wanted to mention today, because it really took me off, was that this camera, Kit 2, has a problem with the rocker having drift. So basically I'll be pressing nothing and it'll start zooming out. So this rocker has that problem where it will zoom out even if you're not pressing anything. So I have to like keep pressure on the forwards. I have to keep pressure on the zoom in so that it doesn't even zoom out, so that it even just stays. So that was really annoying and very hard to control today. So I feel like the last time I saw the other camera, it didn't have LAWA, but it should be Kit 1. But anyways, use the other camera that's not Kit 2 if you can help it, because of the faulty zoom on this camera. And the last thing is, besides the power and the live on the Teradek, you also want to keep an eye on this green light here for the power for the camera, just so that you know that the power is still coming through on the kit. Well, even though the camera didn't work today, it was another great rugby game. The guys did great. There's some gnarly injuries. Jeez, I can't imagine for this sport. But anyways, I hope this helps you run the Teradek. If you ever need to, ask for help if you can, but I would just recommend always staying reliable over convenient. So like, even if like Wi-Fi is more convenient somehow, go with the reliable option. Even if battery is more convenient, go with the power, right? So just definitely test things out beforehand, get help to make sure you have all the resources to go, and just every time you do this, just pay attention, learn from your mistakes, and try to put different things in place that can help you prevent them next time. I hope that in this video I've already shared a bunch of those things so that you don't have to relearn them for yourself, so that you can learn from my mistakes. If there's anything I missed in this video, please leave a comment so that I can get back to you and let you know what little knowledge I have after running this for just a couple months in 2022. So the older this video gets, I'm sure it'll be outdated. Maybe the school will get better technology than this Teradek sometime. And good luck with your live streaming. Sorry, I feel like this video will come out a little bit long-winded, but I hope at least it was detailed. I know I could have probably said things a little more succinctly, but I want you guys to have all the information you need. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you out. I always get hot after moving everything because it takes a lot of like movement and strength, and so I take my sweater off and then I get up here and it's cold and it's windy and I just like put my sweater back on.